We've all made financial mistakes. In today's episode, we're going to talk about some of those mistakes that we've made and lessons we've learned.
Rainbows to Riches.
Welcome back to Rainbows to Riches, guys. I'm Rayleigh, and some of you who have been with us throughout this journey know that I didn't really have financial guidance growing up or recently until I met Drew and Michael, who's his husband. And then we decided to create a community so we could talk about personal finance, a safe community for everyone.
I'm Drew. I have run several different businesses in 3 different countries, and I have bought, sold, and rented quite a number of residential and commercial real estate properties as well.
My name is Michael. I'm Drew's husband. We've been together about 25 years, but when I met him, I had just come through bankruptcy, and with his help and support, I was able to get myself into a financial state where I was able to buy a house, open a business, and now we're looking at a comfortable retirement.
And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about some of our personal financial issues. I know that I've committed a bunch of them. I'm pretty sure that all of us have committed a bunch of them, but I'm also hopeful that many of us are trying to avoid these financial mistakes, right? So why not build a community, a safe community to talk about them and be like, don't repeat what I did. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I guess some mistakes are more obvious than others. You know what I mean?
And
some
more
are
serious
just like,
than others.
yeah. Some are just think that we will never, ever think about or think it's a problem. And today I want to know, guys, I want to peer one more layer of information out of you and know what were the worst mistakes you've ever committed.
Fair
Financial
enough.
mistakes.
You're going to start? Just ask.
Oh, who's gonna start? Who's gonna start talking?
Well, this is the thing. She was supposed to pause, and I was going to talk, and then you just jumped on her. Well, let me put something in context for me and my biggest mistake I made. When I was 26 years old, I was making really good income, but I found out I was HIV positive. And at that point, I realized that my life expectancy was less than 2 years. So I liquidated all my assets. I used the money and I bought myself a fancy car. And I waited. Surprisingly, someone came into my life from my past who we hit it off and eventually ended up in a relationship. And within 4 months, I gave up my new apartment, my new car, and I moved into his house and started driving one of his cars. I gave up my independence for for emotional security and some financial security. Everything I had was transferred into his name because my life expectancy was so short.
But wait, you put everything in his name?
I had nothing left. Everything that we owned was in Bill's name. So the house was his when I moved in. The cars were his. I didn't really have...
Even the fancy car you got?
You sold that.
I sold the car that I bought just before I met him.
Oh, okay.
I bought a fancy sports car, but he and I decided it was not a practical car. So I drove a practical car, which was a station wagon back then. I basically reinvented myself to fit what was supposed to be a good husband. And eventually, over time, the medications changed and HIV no longer was a death sentence and my life expectancy extended. So I wanted to buy a business. So I tried to go get financing and realized I had nothing in my name. So Bill suggested that I use credit cards. And I basically got all the money to open a business with an unsecured credit card money. The week that I closed on the business was the week that he announced that the relationship was over. He was selling the house and moving out of state.
But just for context, what does that mean, the credit card thing? Because you said a
Well,
word.
I had cash advances on credit cards. So I borrowed like $25,000 in cash advances.
So what is cash advance for those who don't know?
Well, when you have a credit card, you can use the credit card to purchase an item, or you can use that credit card and pay a fee to take cash that you can spend however you want. So you can get it in a check form, you could take it to the bank and they'll give you cash. But basically it meant that I was able to use the money from a credit card to purchase a business. Well,
And
as I s-
Bill told you to do that.
it was his suggestion. And I believed him. He was a financial person. He was a business owner. I trusted him.
Do you think that he was premeditating everything?
I don't know. I can't imagine that he would not have expected my life to crash and burn.
Like he kind of...
I don't know. All I know is that's the way it transpired. I lost my home. I had a business that lasted just about a year before it failed miserably. I had to move in with friends in a very small attic apartment, and I went bankrupt. But I learned. You don't ever give up all of your own power and finances for security, because if it gets taken away from you, you have no security.
That security is just an illusion.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lesson right there. And if you don't mind me asking, how did you feel when you had to take the decision, like, I need to go bankrupt?
Well, everyone in my life told me that I should declare bankruptcy. I was paying back for a business that didn't exist. I was making enough money to live on, but I was not making enough money to live on and repay this credit card. So every month I went further and further into debt. I was advised by a number of people that bankruptcy was the route to go, but my ego told me, I can do this. I'm going to show him. I'm not going to fail because of him. And ironically, the reason I ended up declaring bankruptcy is he advised. Somehow I needed his permission to declare bankruptcy. And he said, I know what you're doing, Michael. You're trying to prove something to me, and you've proven it. Declare bankruptcy and get out from underneath it. I needed his permission. So it was the right thing to do. It's just my pride wouldn't let me do it for a long time.
Wow. See, girlies? Be careful.
But the error there was in the trusting
Yeah, it was
of
not.
someone to do right by you.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was.
Independence.
Yeah, it was-
Independence. So what
It was
is
a
the
relationship based on total dependence. And when I was all for opening a salon, it showed that I was trying to be independent. And I believe that that movement towards independence was what he couldn't handle. So he sabotaged it.
And
Learn.
that's why watching a podcast tailored but not limited to your needs is very important, my LGBTQ plus people, because financial independence is the key to many things.
Yes.
So keep on watching, because I want to hear more stories about trusting people, because I feel like many financial mistakes happen because of this trust issue thing, or
Very true.
trusting a lot in somebody
Very true. When you trust, there's nothing wrong with trusting,
financially.
financially or in any way. But you always need to understand that the trust has to have a limit. You have to at least be able to verify. Who was it? Nixon said, "Trust but verify." Who
Something
said that
like
about
that.
the Russians? You can trust, but you have to verify. And when you trust, you often don't do that. Was it like that?
I think it was Reagan. I'm not sure.
Maybe. I know somebody said it.
Long time.
I had a friend, Brazilian guy, super friendly. we used to take vacations together. Me and I was married with my wife and my kids, and him and his wife and his kids took vacations together. We ate dinner there all the time because she was the best Brazilian cook in the whole Brazilian group. And if I had to deliver something to her or to him, I made sure it was at dinner time that I went over to deliver it. We were very close. We played poker together with a group every Friday night.
Like family.
Really was like a brother. And this is the time I was with the seminar company, and he decided he could no longer stay where he was. He was at the Brazilian bank, and they were closing the New York branch. I forget what the story was. And he said, listen, you know what I'd love to do? I'd love to start an import-export business, but I don't really have any money. If you guys, me and the other two partners in the seminar business, would put up some money, we could start the business, and we split the profit 4 ways. I talked to my other two partners who trusted me implicitly, and I said, this is a great guy. You have nothing to worry about. I can't guarantee the business will be successful, but guys, best there is. And we put up $200,000 between the three of us, among the three of us, and he started to order things in from Brazil and sell them, and he handled the checkbook. He handled everything. We were busy. We were running a seminar, which was a big $15 million business. We were running it. We didn't have time for this. This was his thing. But I trusted him.
Was he doing part of the seminar?
No, nothing to do with the seminar. He opened an import-export company where he was importing food from Brazil. And he's selling it to Brazilian restaurants and Brazilian stores in Newark and the surrounding area. That was what he did. And none of us ever really discussed it with him. He just did what he did. And he would occasionally tell us this is where he didn't do reports. You should have a weekly or a monthly report. We didn't ask him anything. He had the checkbook with the $200,000 in it. And we were busy. We were working 6 and 7 days a week. At one point, I forgot why, I had to look at the checkbook. And I noticed at the end, there was before computers, you wrote everything down. And after you write a check, you write the total, how much is left in the account, or if you make a deposit, how much, you add it up. I noticed that going back, there were no totals in the checkbook. There were the amounts of the checks that were written, but it was months and months of no totals. I had no idea how much was in there. And I asked him about that, and he said, I just never bothered to do it. If you want me to do it, I'll do it. That was on a holiday weekend. He'll do it next week. I said, okay, no rush. I should know what's in there. He didn't come in after the holiday weekend, the following Tuesday. He had divorced his wife in the interim. I forgot to mention that. And on Tuesday didn't come in, called his house. I think we had cell phones then, just beginning to have the big ones that you carried in a bag around your shoulder. And I called his then ex-wife. I called 2 of his kids. Do you know, I didn't know he's not here. I could drag this out, but the bottom line is he had left, took all the money in the account, moved back to Brazil, and married his ex-wife's sister, which is a whole other story of horror. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. I called the bank, and we had a relationship with the bank. He had it in the same company, same bank we did. And I called the bank, and I said, how much is in that account? And it should have been like $350 or $400. She said $100. And now I had to go tell the other 2 partners that I had vouched for this guy on my life, and the money, and he, and every penny was gone. And it was not pleasant. The bottom line, what you learn is you can trust, but you have to verify. And the other thing I learned, you keep the checkbook.
What was everyone's reaction? Like, what did you
horrified.
do?
Luckily, I had known the seminar guys, the other 2 guys.
No insurance? Like, you guys just lost the money?
Well, how do you have insurance? Insurance against what? I guess you could have
Where
insurance.
did the money come from?
We funded it, and then he was selling stuff He was importing food from Brazil and selling it, and money came in from there. There's no insurance on a thing like that. I don't know if there is. If
My
you could have
guy-
that kind of liability insurance, but not really. And luckily for me, that the other two guys in the seminar business, we were so close. We had known each other for so many years that they knew that I had nothing to do
Are
with
they
it.
alive?
One is alive. One is alive. One died rather young in his 60s.
How about the Steeler?
He died shortly thereafter in Brazil of a heart attack.
Karma
And not
is
that
a
I would wish that on
bitch.
anybody, but son of a bitch. Can you imagine that? And the trust I had in that changed my whole thinking about trust.
And he does always have to have the checkbook.
You notice who has the Rainbows to Riches checkbook?
He has to have it.
I have it. You can see it. You can write on check. You can take money out. I have the checkbook.
And
And
here-
every morning when I check investments, I check the bank, I check the Rainbows to Riches bank.
Period.
Every
To make sure no Brazilian stealing you.
That's right. That's right. So that's what I learned from that.
Damn, Drew, trusting a Brazilian again.
Again? Who's again?
I'm Brazilian.
Oh, you mean trusting you again? Yeah, well, I have the checkbook. I'm good.
Period. Guys, don't trust people if you're opening a business with somebody. Keep the checkbook.
Just verify what's going on, which is what I didn't do.
Don't give over your power.
Yeah.
Where can I even start? So many interesting stories. But getting $400,000 stolen from you, that's a lot.
I don't even know how it was 200,000 we began. Maybe there was 300. Maybe there was 4. I don't know. I have no
This
idea.
is also 40 years ago.
This is more than 40 years ago.
So that was even more.
Oh, wow.
It was in the 1980s. Thanks.
I was just...
You weren't even just.
Yeah. But anyways, today I understand that the stupidest financial mistake I've ever done was also credit card advance. But it's just funny to travel back in your memories and just be like how your mindset was and how it is now. It's like, thankfully, the mindset is, getting there. But it was around COVID. COVID had just started mid-COVID. And the trips to Brazil, like the flights to Brazil were so cheap, like very, very cheap. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is my chance to go to Brazil. You know what I mean? And this procedure on your face to make your face more symmetrical, more plumpy, more beautiful.
Plumpy, I like that word. Plumpy.
It was very, 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 very popular in Brazil, which is a bunch of fillers and Botox to, just plump your face.
And you were how old? Like 22 or something?
Yeah.
Get rid of those wrinkles.
Many wrinkles that I had, issues. Anyways, and I bought the flight for $400, which is usually $1,000
Round
more.
trip?
Yes, on my credit card.
Obviously. Where else would you get it?
Yeah, my credit card. And then I was like, okay, I don't remember what happened. Either the transfer, because I had the money, but I couldn't transfer the money to pay the doctor, and it needed to be paid from here. I don't know what it was. I just know that I did something in my mind, and I was like, oh, what if I keep this money and I do credit card advance? And I paid the surgery with that. I think that I want more money to spend in Brazil or something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is genius.
Why didn't everybody think of this?
And I was like, Jesus Christ, this is genius, really. Let's go. You're going to pay. It's so funny because that mentality, if you are in this mentality right now, get out of it because you're going to identify with it. That mentality of, shit, I have time to pay it off. That feeling, that strong feeling that like when it's time to pay that off, I'll have so much motivation to save money that I will. Like I'm gone. I can use this. You get so happy. Like the burst of the dopamine is so intense that everything has a solution. It's 15 days from now. The solution is going to come. Then push it off, And I took the $2,000 that I spent on my face on my credit card. Like super high interest.
Yep.
And I was like, and I thought it was brilliant. I think that was...
That's the best part.
That was the best part, I thought that was like so brilliant. But anyways, guys, do not do that because there's a fee and there is higher interest.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep, it's double whammy.
But there are also low interest credit cards, which I had because when I opened the business, by that point, my credit rating was very high. And I had a credit card that had 11 or 12%, which is low. So after the business I opened successfully, which I borrowed money from, I secured money personally at that point, and I had a very good interest rate. But after the business was running for a little while, I had to buy some equipment, and I couldn't save enough money to buy it in advance, so I bought it on a credit card, knowing that I was going to have to pay the interest over a couple of months until I paid it off.
Do you remember what you were buying?
I don't. I really don't. I mean, it was about 6 months into the salon, and God knows I needed so much to keep it running. So I put money on, I charged things, and I knew what the interest rate was. And I knew that if I paid like triple the minimum, I would pay it off quickly. So I was paying every month. I looked at what the minimum was and I doubled it or tripled it. I made sure I paid a lot more than the minimum. And I kept thinking to myself, shouldn't this balance go down? And it didn't. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, why is it? So then I looked, they had changed my interest rate on that card to 26%. And I called them. I said, wait a second, I've been paying this card off. I have no problem. They said, yes, but we've analyzed your income to debt ratio and it's too high. So you're considered a credit risk. I'm like, I haven't missed a single payment. I'm paying way more than I should have. So
Oh, wow.
The lesson I learned from that is always analyze your bills. Whenever something comes in, make sure that the information is correct and it hasn't changed.
Because if you had noticed it in the very first month, there were at least possible alternatives.
Right. I would have been able to
could
make
have
other
taken.
changes.
Yeah.
And also to learn how to read your statement. And you just gave me an idea for a next episode,
Good,
which
yeah.
is
Income expense ratio.
Oh, the income to expense ratio.
Yes.
That was it. Yeah.
Explain what that is.
Because I was earning and showing a certain level of income, I took a salary from the salon. And when credit bureaus look at your debt, they want to see how much of your income could be used to pay off debt. So if I'm making $100,000, but I have debt of $50,000, it's one thing. If I have a $20,000 debt, it's a smaller percentage. So if my income to debt ratio is off, they consider me a bigger risk and they increase the interest, which is why having a good credit rating is going to give you the best rates on loans.
Absolutely.
Period. Any other mistakes? Because
I go next. I'm next. I'm next.
I know, because I just want to tell the audience that when we were brainstorming this episode, somebody in our team said, I don't really have any financial mistakes.
I never said I didn't make
He
any
couldn't
mistakes.
think of any. Drew has a great memory where things matter. But if it's a negative, he tends to. It's great as being a husband who he never remembers our fights, but he also never remembers his own mistakes.
I know, I do. I just might not mention it or pretend I don't remember.
Toxic.
And this mistake, this next one, is a mistake that you shouldn't make because I didn't.
You made me feel like he said it one time, I never done any financial.
Well, trusting that guy was certainly a mistake. That was a mistake. The other thing I did is when the seminar business closed and we had lost all that money from the import-export business, there was still a company open, an import-export business open, because we never got around to closing it. And I was married at the time, and my wife, who was from Spain but raised in Brazil, suggested we begin a business or take up that business, but not with food, which is a real difficult business for a lot of reasons, but with home decor. And I said, that's a good idea.
The business you're talking about is the import-export business that had gotten started by Alberto, who stole all the
Right,
money. So the business existed. There was just no money.
The business he's talking about is the business that he first hired me to work for him.
That's right. That's right. And that business lasted for 30 years
Oh, damn.
or more.
So you got paid off.
It worked out beautifully. However,
Oh, you made the money back.
the mistake was that you never know if it's going to work out. If you're in a couple, and the income for the two of you is going to come from one source, that can be really, really dangerous. If the business had not done well, we would have both had no money, or
But
way
you both
less
had your
money.
job.
No, that was when the seminar business closed. And there's a whole different story there as to why it closed. Instead of me going to look for a job and her going to look for a job, we said, let's, Mickey Rooney and whoever,
Judy Garland.
Judy Garland, let's put on a play. We said, we're going to open a seminar. You don't know what that means. We're going to open a seminar business.
References that are
like 1930s reference. And we opened it, and we were lucky. We were successful. We worked 6 and 7 days a week. I mean, we worked very hard, but we did open and run a really, really successful business right up until COVID-ish, a little after COVID. But if you're considering opening a business with your partner, your husband or wife, you really have to consider that very, very carefully, because if it doesn't work out, suddenly you have no income instead of half the income, which if each of you is working in different places, at least one of you has an income that continues.
I feel like not only couples, but if you're starting a business with a friend, if you're starting a business with whoever, you have to make sure that you have your income for your finances.
One of the
and that-
reasons that we don't ever talk about working together, because I laugh now that he's retired. I think, you come work
Well, you guys are
as a
working
receptionist.
together.
Well, yes. But we're not dependent on this. We
One
have
day.
our own
One day.
separate incomes.
No, what he's saying, even if lots of income comes from this, we won't be dependent on it. It would certainly be very nice. But he has his own income, and I have my own income.
Oh, period.
That's the point.
Okay. But we will make a lot of money.
There we go.
Okay.
Maybe this will not be there.
Maybe not on this episode.
People are, this bitch just thinks of money. Oh, my other mistake. Did you do your two?
Yep, it's your turn. Tell us your mistake, your last mistake.
My last mistake for all of you, my friends, who are going to college right now, be careful with credit cards. Credit cards again, because credit cards will literally f up your life so much.
Can't say that.
Screw up.
Yes, I can. Screw up your life. Credit cards will screw up your life so much. It's just a mistake that will haunt you. It'll just follow you wherever you go. And I literally had 5 credit cards. I applied for 5 credit cards in college, like major banks, and I think that I had one that was higher, the limit, but it was like an unknown bank. You know when you get like a credit card
like
option, but it's not like Wells Fargo or somebody big, and the interest is usually higher with these like banks that are not so known. So it was just a mistake that followed me after college, and do not do it, guys.
And you charge things on every card?
I used to charge everything on my card. I was going out 4 nights a week.
So all 5 cards were fairly heavily charged?
Yeah.
And you were paying what every month? The minimum or a little more? Or
A little. I would pay always a little more because I thought that I was doing a lot.
Because you had it figured out.
But I had like 5 payments monthly. But college was a time. It was. It was meant to happen. I don't regret it.
Well, no, the thing
I
is,
don't
you
regret
have,
it.
You
It
just
was
learn
the,
from your mistakes.
You're
That's
right.
the point.
It was the seed for all of this.
right,
which
and you
I'm
certainly did
creating,
learn from
so-
it. You certainly have learned from all those mistakes.
Exactly. Now I have one credit card. Period.
There you go. Was that your choice or the credit card company's choice?
No, they keep asking me to like.
Oh, do they keep
increase
offering
it
you cards?
more, and I'm like, no,
No,
no
thank you.
more,
Right, I'm good.
no more, no more.
Well, before we close out, there are certain mistakes which we can go over, which are very obvious, and we're not going to really spend any time on them, such as, you're supposed to pay your bills on time. I don't have to tell you that. Don't spend more than you earn. Paying the minimum balances on credit cards, which we've discussed how awful that is, or not saving or investing money. These are things you don't need to really spend time on. Maybe you're going to commit the mistakes, maybe you're not, but you know about them, and hopefully you'll make the right choices. But there are some mistakes people don't really think about. Just a few to mention, co-signing a loan for somebody. You co-sign a loan, you are as responsible as the person who got the loan. Really?
Just explain. What does it mean to co-sign a loan?
Well, somebody who, if you want to take out a loan and you don't have enough credit or you don't have good credit, you don't have enough income for the amount of the loan.
You can't.
The,
It's just not your reality.
Well, the bank will say to you, look, I can give you the loan. It often happens with cars, by the way, buying a car. They say, I'll give you the loan, but you have to have a cosigner.
My first car. My first car cost $1,000,
And you had to have a
and
cosigner.
my brother Bill decided that it would be a good way for me to build credit, so that he co-signed the loan, and I paid it off. It was like a 2 or 3 year. I don't know how much the payments were. They were very low, but he offered to co-sign. I was 18 at that point, so $1,000 was a lot of money to me in 1979, and he co-signed the loan, which I paid off in 2 or 3 years, and that began my credit history.
I forgot to tell, one of my mistakes was gonna be the card that I bought, and then I changed it. But my grandma co-signed for my card too.
Did you pay it off?
Huh?
Did you pay it off, or did your
The car?
grandma have to? Yeah.
I paid the card.
Oh, you
off.
did? Okay.
She gave me the down payment, but I paid it
But
off.
don't you co-sign for anyone else?
Yeah, don't. If you co-sign for anybody, no matter how close you are to them, and you can love them, it can be your brother or your sister or a close friend, and it's hard to say no. But if anything happens, and they don't pay, you are responsible for paying every single penny of it. And if you don't, it goes to your credit report. So, one thing to remember. A lot of people trying to save money buy low-cost stuff, low-quality stuff. Never a really good idea, because if you buy a pair of jeans for $8,
And
it's
it
gonna
rips the first time you wash
yeah,
it.
it really didn't get you
Unintentionally.
any. When I was in college and I really had just no money at all, and I had to have a suit. I got a suit. I was probably 17. I had to get a suit. I got a suit for $25. It was kind of made out of cardboard or something. It was the strangest thing. And my boyfriend said, "What is that?" And I had to walk very carefully. It lasted for whatever the one affair was. I needed it. Never a wise choice, because things like that just seem to.
That was a financial mistake, and
That was a financial mistake. Yep. Don't ever take a loan out on your 401k. That is protected by bankruptcy, and it's protected from bankruptcy. If you ever have to file for it, and you take money out from your 401k, you've just lost the money for no reason. Basically, those are the few issues that you should be extra careful of, because they're not things you often think of.
period. So
Take us out.
this was our version of financial mistakes. I hope that you enjoyed the conversation that we created through storytelling, these beautiful men talking about their past and their stories and the lessons they have learned, and share this energy not only with me, but with you as well. Hope to see you in our next episode, and make sure to like,
Comment.
And subscribe.
Make sure to share it with somebody as well so we can keep the energy going and the momentum of this beautiful community we are creating.
Please remember that this podcast is just for entertainment and education.
Peace out.
Good night.